It's time for Brewster Whitecaps baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. It's the two best words you can hear in Cape League baseball. Game 3. It's do or die today for both Brewster and YD as the 2 and 3 seeds in the Eastern Division meet for one game to decide whom will play Orleans or Chatham for the Eastern Division Championship. We welcome you to Red Wilson Field. It's a gloomy, overcast day. There's a threat of rain a bit later on after the ball game is over, but for right now, we're going to see some baseball tonight, and we're so glad that you are joining us to enjoy this ball game. Carter Woodell alongside Aiden Doyle. Morris Sheridan will be joining us in just a little bit. And Aiden, Brewster got a big win last night, extended their series and their season with a 6-1 win against these YD Red Sox. What can they carry over from that win into this ball game today?
Well, it's been the recipe for success for this team all season long. Getting a start like that from Will Tribuker put them in the driver's seat from inning number 1. He looked locked in, ready to go, and he shut down a tough YD Red Sox lineup. The offense struck first in the 3rd inning with a Mickey Gasper single, and then once YD tied the game in the 4th, well, then it was all Brewster from there with a 3-run frame, and then tacking on another couple of runs to make it 6-1. Whitecaps backs against the wall again. Coach Shevchik, I think, talked about it best after yesterday's game. The pressure's on YD, not Brewster. YD's the 3-time defending champ. They're the ones with the target on their back. They're at home today. They're supposed to win. Brewster's loving this underdog role.
Brewster fresh off their first playoff win since 2011 yesterday. Let's meet the lineup that Jamie Shevchik is going to be sending out for this ball game. A couple of changes from yesterday. We'll let the Whitecaps let you know who they are.
Nick Dunn, infield, University of Maryland. Chandler Taylor, University of Alabama, outfielder. Mickey Gasper, first baseman, Bryant University.
Hey, I'm Marty Casas, outfielder, University of Maryland.
Darius Hill, outfielder, West Virginia University. Kyle Datris, infield, University of North Carolina.
Hunter Bishop, outfielder, Arizona State.
Justin Coons, catcher, the Gardner-Webb University.
AJ Graffinino, shortstop for the University of Washington.
Paulie Milto, right-handed pitcher, Indiana University.
So that is who Jamie Shevchik will be trotting out. He's out there with YD manager Scott Pickler exchanging the lineup cards at home plate right now. What do you see here? The big tweak in this lineup for Jamie Shevchik is Darius Hill in at DH. He's there for his bat, and he's batting 5th, Aiden.
Well, he played well yesterday, picking up a couple of hits, and in a ballpark like Red Wilson Field here in Yarmouth, it isn't necessarily, you don't necessarily have to hit the ball 450 feet to get it out of here. It's a smaller ballpark. He's a line drive hitter, and that's the way they won yesterday, stringing together base hits. They only had a couple of extra base hits the entire game, no home runs, and so that's what they're trying to replicate today against Carl Kaufman, who features a lot of sliders, has that sharp breaking ball. That's what he found success against this Whitecaps lineup 2 days ago here at Red Wilson Field. So they're trying not to swing for the fences every time and go for that, just put the ball in play, get some base hits, string together base runners.
Yeah, there were a couple of changes in who YD will be pitching. We'll get to that in a little bit later. But for right now, let's talk about Paulie Milto, who the Whitecaps will be sending out tonight. Let's send it to Morris Sheridan with some more on that.
Well, guys, Paulie Milto had arguably his best start against YD. He has played really well against them in the past, and Coach Jamie Shevchik says it's because he throws a great slider, and it's really hard for this YD Red Sox team to hit, and also because he throws a slider, he's getting the start today because that's a low pitch, and he says that means less home runs, which we all know at this field is very possible with the center field wall being just 350. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Maury. Yeah, Paulie Milto, always a guy who's looking to keep things down on the zone and get balls on the ground. Besides just locating the pitches, what can he do to make sure he stays on his game in this do-or-die situation?
I think besides locating, it's the same thing Will Tribuker did yesterday, is just change speeds. Today, the bullpen is ready to go. Only used one reliever a couple of days ago on Saturday, Sam Bordner. One reliever yesterday, Joe Demers. This bullpen is rested. They are all available for the most part, unless Demers isn't available after yesterday. But if Milto can give them 5-6 innings of quality pitching, the bullpen can take it the rest of the way. It's just a matter of, keep the ball low, locate the pitches, change speeds, keep these Red Sox hitters off balance. If he manages, like you mentioned, Carter, and what Maura was talking about, keeping the ball low, that is the most important key to success for Paulie Milto on the mound today.
And here is the lineup that Milto is going to try and face. Nico Horner will lead things off for YD. He'll be playing second base. Kyle Isbell hits second and plays center. Carlos Cortez is the 3-hitter in left field tonight. Alfonso Rivas is the first baseman batting cleanup. Batting fifth, the DH, Carter Ferris. Luke Miller will be hitting in the 6th hole and playing right field. Connor Kaiser, the shortstop, hits 7th. Drew Mendoza will hit 8th and play third base. And Darren Trainer will hit 9th and catch. We'll talk a little bit more about this last minute scratch to the YD pitching staff right after the national anthem. This is Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball. Here are Carter Waddell and Aiden Doyle. We welcome you back to Red Wilson Field. We're getting ready for Game 3, the deciding game of this first-round series between YD and Brewster, and Carl Kaufman is taking his warm-up pitches. He is the starter for the YD Red Sox in this ball game. A bit of a departure from what we thought earlier in this game. It was going to be Tim Brennan to go, and then he was a late scratch. So what do you expect from Carl Kaufman in this ball game, Aiden?
Well, I mentioned it before the break. It's a heavy dose of sliders. That seems to be his go-to pitch, and he pitched well against these Whitecaps here on Saturday. 3 innings, just 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts. That's what he's going to try and do, to keep these Whitecaps hitters off balance. With the wind blowing out today, it's a good opportunity for these left-handed power hitters in this Whitecaps lineup to get the ball up and let it carry. But if he's throwing that slider down, burying it in the dirt, it's a lot harder to hit one in the dirt in the air than it is one upstairs.
It is a windy day here at Red Wilson Field. The flagpole's right over the scoreboard and basically straight away left, and it's blowing pretty much straight out. So out to left center is the way it is. But with some weather moving into the area, this is the sort of wind that can kind of change, and we'll see if we can update you as the game goes along. YD has taken the field. They are wearing their home whites with Red Sox across the front, almost exactly like the Boston Red Sox uniforms, and Brewster is wearing their teal jerseys with Brewster written across in whites and then white numbers on the back. And Nick Dunn will lead things off for the Whitecaps. Dunn, Taylor, and Gasper, the 3 due up in the top of the first inning of this deciding Game 3. Dunn digging in from the left side, and Kaufman kicks and deals the first pitch of the ball game. It's fouled back right toward Chandler Taylor in the on-deck circle on the first base side, and we are underway here from Red Wilson Field. These two teams knotted at 1. YD took the first game here in a walk-off. Brewster won yesterday at Stony Brook Field to even the series. The 0-1 pitch misses just low in the judgment of Mark Chamberlain behind the plate. Chamberlain is joined by Jeff Kinney at first, Rudy Firmbach at second, and Larry Rosenberg at third. That's our umpiring crew for this ball game. 1-1 pitch skips off the home plate. Low for ball number 2. 2-1 is the count. Nick Dunn so far in this series is 2 for 7, has 3 runs batted in, and a pair of runs scored to go with a couple of walks. He has continued his hot hitting into the playoffs. Waiting on a 2-1 pitch from Kaufman. Here it comes. It's hit hard into center field. Moving back as the center fielder is Bell. He's over his head and up against the center field wall. Dunn is rounding first base. He's headed into second, but throw comes in, and it is not in time. Nick Dunn is in there safely at second base. Had the throw been off on line, it may have beaten him. It was a bit toward the third base side of the second base bag. And despite that, it looked like Nico Horner, the second baseman, was having a couple of words for the umpire there, but it's a leadoff double for Dunn, and the Whitecaps have a man in scoring position and no one out.
Well, that's a great start for the Brewster Whitecaps, and here at Red Wilson Field, we've talked about how short center field is. Well, Dunn got it out there in a hurry, and that hurts him, trying to stretch that into a double. Obviously, he got there safely, but it's hit so hard and it's so shallow that the center fielder, Isbell, doesn't have to run as far to get it.
So here's Chandler Taylor. The pitch to the lefty is swung on and grounded foul right side. So it's 0-1 on Chandler Taylor after that little nubber foul. Taylor so far in this postseason is 2 for 7, has 4 strikeouts to his name in the playoffs. He led the Whitecaps with 43 Ks in the regular season. And it takes a while to reset himself here, walking around the circle. He'll dig back in. With Dunn aboard second base, we're just underway here in the top of the first inning of Game 3. No score yet, nobody out. Kaufman holds the set. Checks the runner at second. Checks him one more time. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. It is in there for a called strike. Looks like he took a little bit off there, and the count is 0-2. Kaufman has 4 different pitches that he'll go to, and he can throw them all for strikes. His fastball will sit in the low 90s. And like you said, Aiden loves to throw sliders. Here comes the 0-2. Misses up high and away. So the count 1 ball and 2 strikes on Chandler Taylor. Taylor, of course, had 9 home runs in the regular season. Time for the most on the Cape. Dunn aboard second base with nobody out. Kaufman gets the nod, gets the sign from Trainer. 1-2 pitch coming. It misses low to make the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. The full defense for the YD Red Sox in this ball game, it's Cortez, Isbell, and Miller left to right in the outfield. Drew Mendoza at third, Connor Kaiser at short, Nico Horner is at second base, Alfonso Rivas is at first, and Darren Trainer, who's an excellent defensive catcher, is behind the plate. Doing the catching for Carl Kaufman. The 2-2 pitch is swung on and fouled back behind the plate. The count remains 2-2. One thing of note, we've mentioned it every time we've been here, but it's important that there's plenty of room behind home plate to that chain link fence backstop here in Yarmouth. Both teams starting their best defensive catchers today, with Trainer behind the plate for YD, and Coons will be behind the plate for Brewster to begin this ball game. Kaufman staring, and here comes the 2-2 pitch. Just nubbed foul toward the third base side. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes on Chandler Taylor. We are in the top of the first inning. We are scoreless. Chandler Taylor doing an excellent job working this at-bat. With the count even 2-2 under a very gray, gloomy sky here at Red Wilson Field in Yarmouth. Kaufman now comes set, ready to deal 2-2. Here comes the pitch. Just misses outside. Makes the count 3-2. A nice eye there from Chandler Taylor, though some YD fans, especially the ones over by the home dugout on the third base side, had their say with Mark Chamberlain behind the plate. But the count is full 3-2. Nick Dunn on second base with nobody out. Kaufman comes set again, stares right at the runner, checks him again. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. In there called, strike 3. Chandler Taylor down looking, has a couple of words for Mark Chamberlain as he walks back to the dugout. He looked like he was taking a couple of steps toward first base when that call came through. But in any case, Taylor has his 5th strikeout of the playoffs, and there's 1 gone.
Well, Taylor battled there for a while, really worked a good at-bat against Kaufman, but there took that slider right on the outside corner from the right-hander for strike 3. That's what this Whitecaps team's got to watch out for. He's going to go to that pitch when he needs a strike or when he needs to put someone away. He's going to go to that off-speed slider.
So here is Mickey Gasper, the pitch to the switch hitter batting left, misses down and in, and the count is 1-0. Mickey Gasper was team MVP and team captain at the end of the season in the award ceremony for Brewster, and he has lived up to that billing so far in the playoffs. 3 for 7 with 3 ribbies and a run scored in this series. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Grooved in there for a strike on the fastball. Count 1 ball and 1 strike on Gasper. Gasper's also been providing the pop for this Brewster Whitecaps lineup. Whitecaps only have 2 extra base hits in this playoff series. They've both been Mickey Gasper doubles. 1-1 is the count. Kaufman checks the runner Dunn on second base. In fact, he'll throw over there, and Dunn will dive back in time. Looks like he had to scramble a bit, but did get in there without forcing the shortstop Kaiser to apply the tag. 1-1 still the count on Mickey Gasper, who hit .305 with a .429 on-base percentage in the regular season for the Whitecaps. Kaufman gets the sign he likes from Darren Trainer. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. It's a slow ground ball toward the shortstop Kaiser. He charges it, fields it, throws to first base for the out. Advancing to third base is done, but there are 2 away with Costas coming up for the Whitecaps.
From Maryland, number 42.
We are scoreless here, top of inning number 1, with Nick Dunn now on third base and Costas digging in for Brewster. One thing these 2 teams have in common is they both have plenty of speed on the base paths, though Brewster up to this point has done a slightly better job of using that speed. Both teams have done a good job neutralizing the stolen base game in this series. No stolen bases for YD yet. Pitch to Costas misses inside, so the count is 1-0 on the right-handed hitter. Costas is 1 for 7, but that one was a big one. Drove in a run, has 2 ribbies total. They both were in game 1. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. It misses low. The count 2 balls and no strikes on Marty Costas. Carl Kaufman is a rising sophomore from Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. As far as what he'll do today, I think Scott Pickler will be happy with 3 or 4 innings out of him. It's an all-hands-on-deck sort of ball game. Here comes the 2-0. Check swing on a pitch that was low. He did hold up. Chamberlain does not appeal, so the count is now 3-0 on Marty Costas. Of course, Riley McCauley, the biggest weapon that Scott Pickler has arguably in YD's bullpen, has not yet been used in this playoff series, so you have to think he's going to go an inning or 2 today. 3-0 pitch is hit high in the air behind the plate, foul. That's going to get out of play and over into those bleachers. Takes some skill to nail the bleachers here at Red Wilson Field. They're kind of a ways behind the backstop in some places, but somebody got a souvenir out there. 3-1 is the count on Costas. Here comes the 3-1 pitch. Off-speed pitch misses up high, so a walk puts Costas on first base, and it's runners at the corners and 2 men out for Darius Hill.
We've talked so much about the improved discipline from Marty Costas over the course of the season, and there it was on display. Getting ahead in the count and fouling one off back behind a plate before taking that pitch up high. Especially, we've talked about this too, Carter, the appeal of a high fastball or a high pitch to especially a power hitter like Marty Costas to lay off that one, not trying to drive it over the scoreboard here at Red Wilson Field and take it for ball 4. That's a disciplined at-bat from Marty.
The second walk for Marty Costas in this playoff series. So it's first and third and 2 men out. Darius Hill digs in from the left side. Early ramifications here for Jamie Shevchik's decision to bump Darius Hill up in the lineup. The first pitch to the lefty is hit on the ground right side. Horner fields it and throws to first base for the out. So Darius Hill is retired 4-3, and the Whitecaps threaten but do not put a run across in the top of the first inning. For Brewster in the top of the first, no runs on 1 hit and 2 men left on base. At the end of a half, it's Whitecaps nothing, Red Sox coming to bat. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. We welcome you back to Red Wilson Field in Yarmouth. The Whitecaps knocked on the door but didn't put a run across them at the top of the first inning, so we're scoreless as we go to the bottom half of inning number 1 here in Game 3. Top of the order due up for YD against Paulie Milto, who has been terrific against the Red Sox so far this season. We've gone through the numbers in the pregame show. Here is Nico Horner. The pitch to the right. He is bunted, foul, third base side. Horner trying to catch the defense off guard in the first YD at bat of this ball game, but fails to keep it in place, so the count is 0-1 on Horner. Milto, as we mentioned, his best start of the year against YD back on the 14th of July. 7 shutout innings, faced the minimum in that ball game. As a whole against the Red Sox, he's thrown 9 1/3 innings without giving up a run. Only 3 hits, 1 walk, and 7 Ks for Paulie Milto. 0-1 pitch to Horner. Swan and grounded weakly toward the third baseman Datris, who fields it and throws to first in time for the out. A nice play from Kyle Datris. Took him a second to field it off a tricky hop and had to really uncork that throw, and he did. So Horner is retired.
Yeah, that was a tricky hop for Datris, playing it off to the left of his left shoulder, so off on the glove hand. It kind of was catching up on him. Wasn't sure if to charge and field it on a short hop or kind of take a step back and play it on a tricky hop, but then it brings that lip of the infield grass into play. But he did a heck of a job there to retire Horner.
So here's the lefty Kyle Isbell. The pitch to him misses low. And the count is 1 ball and no strikes. Milto, a workhorse sort of pitcher, likes to get ground balls. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Misses low, which of course makes him well suited for this ballpark. In that start we mentioned against YD on the 14th of July, 13 of the 21 outs that Milto got in those 7 innings came on the ground. It was a terrific performance from him. 2-0 pitch. It's hit high in the air, a shallow fly ball towards center field. Charging in is the center fielder Bishop, and he will make the play. For out number 2 really had to come in. Looked like the shortstop Graffinino didn't get a good look at that baseball, and Bishop was able to take his ground. Let's get you set on the rest of the Whitecaps defense for this ball game. In the outfield, Marty Costas in left, Hunter Bishop, as we mentioned, in center. Chandler Taylor is in right field. In the infield, it's Kyle Datris at third, A.J. Graffinino at shortstop, Nick Dunn is at second, Mickey Gasper is at first base for the Whitecaps, and Justin Coons is behind the plate for Brewster with Darius Hill, the DH. Here is Carlos Cortez, and the first pitch to him is in there for a called strike to the lefty toward the inner half of the plate. So the count 0-1 on the South Carolina Gamecock. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. It skips low in front of Coons to make the count 1 ball and 1 strike. For Gasper over at first, this is the first time he's played first base since the Cape League All-Star game way back when. And Wareham, 1-1 pitch. Slow ground ball through the middle, fielded over there by the shortstop Graffinino. He throws to first base in time to retire the side. So Paulie Milto, a very quick first inning of work for him. YD goes down in order in the bottom of inning number 1. We're scoreless at the end of 1 here at Red Wilson Field in Game 3. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. We welcome you back to Yarmouth. Whitecaps and Red Sox scoreless here in this deciding Game 3. Kyle Datris will lead things off for Brewster. He, Bishop, and Coons are the 3 due up. Those are the 6, 7, 8 hitters. And on Jamie Shevchik's lineup card for this ball game up against the YD hurler Carl Kaufman. The first pitch to Datris hits him on the elbow, and Datris will move to first base very quickly. As soon as that made contact, he was dropping the bat and hustling over, happy to get on as the leadoff man for the Whitecaps here in this second inning.
That's 2 consecutive innings now with the Whitecaps getting the leadoff man aboard. Obviously, Dunn doubled in the top of the first inning. Now Datris on the hit by pitch, and it sets the stage now for Hunter Bishop, who's got a lot of power in a small ballpark here with the wind blowing out.
Bishop hitting from the left side. The tall outfielder from Arizona State swings and hits one to center field. Moving over is the left fielder Carlos Cortez. He makes the play out in left center. Great read from Carlos Cortez out in left center. That looked like it was heading more toward center than toward left, but Cortez had the good instincts to go over and grab that baseball, so that's out number 1. And now it's Justin Coons' turn. Coons getting the signs from Ryan Smythe, the third base coach, digging in from the right side for the Whitecaps. As we mentioned, he's behind the plate for Brewster in this ball game with Gasper over at first base and Darius Hill the DH. Kyle Datris diving back to first base as Kaufman checks on him there. He stays at first with first pitch coming. Here it comes. Foul back. 0-1 the count on Justin Coons. This is the first start for Justin Coons in a while. Last Tuesday was the last time he was in the starting lineup for Brewster, so no playoff numbers to speak of for him. In the regular season, hit .237, did have 3 home runs for the Whitecaps. Got on base 31% of the time. They throw over to first again, and Datris dives back safely. So the count, no balls and 1 strike on Justin Coons. Kaufman certainly a very different pitcher pace-wise from Paulie Milto. Milto is ready to go immediately after the play, and Kaufman is a little bit more leisurely. 0-1 pitch. Just misses. The count 1-1. A couple of voices over by the first base side took issue with that call. 1-1 is the count on Coons. They throw over to first again, and again diving back safely is Datris. Kind of a strange play as Rivas had to field that one at first base on a short hop, wound up hopping over Datris to maintain his balance, but everybody's all right. Count 1-1 on Coons. We're in the top of the second inning of a scoreless Game 3. Here comes the 1-1. Swing and a miss. There's that slider from Carl Kaufman. Fooled Justin Coons there. Coons typically a very good at just spoiling tough pitches, especially when, like he is now, he's behind in the count with 2 strikes. 1-2 is the count. Righty to righty the matchup. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. Strike 3. It was in the dirt, but there's a runner on first, so no thrower tag. Justin Coons is the second Whitecap strikeout victim of this ball game.
A good job there by Kaufman, just burying that pitch in the dirt, and that's what we were talking about, Carter, is that when he gets ahead in the hitters, when he wants to put them away, he's going to go low. He's going to go with that breaking ball downstairs below the knees, and it's up to the Whitecaps to just be disciplined and lay off it.
Really kind of similar to Paulie Milto in that they both like to pitch down in the zone. Here's A.J. Graffinino, the lefty. This tips away from the catcher, Darren Trainer, the first pitch, and Datris, who was going for second, will stay there. So that, I think, is going to be, we'll see how exactly that score, whether that's a stolen base or a wild pitch for Datris, but in any case, it's a runner on second with 2 men out for Brewster. A big advancement there. Graffinino with the count 1 ball and no strikes now. The Brewster shortstop for this ball game. He is 2 for 6 in the playoffs. Had a bases loaded walk yesterday for his only RBI of this series. 1-0 pitch. Misses inside on an off-speed pitch to make the count 2 balls and no strikes on AJ. We are having some sprinkles of rain. We're feeling them in our outdoor location here, and that means something for the players, not just because they have water in their eyes, as they're going to throw back to second base, and diving back in time is Datris, though he loses his helmet in the process. The infield was already pretty hard when folks were taking infield practice in BP today, and it's got to be getting harder with each individual drop of water if it falls on it. So a tough order for people like A.J. Graffinino at the plate. We're trying to field balls at middle infield spots especially. 2-0 is the count on Graffinino. The pitch misses up and away, so it's 3-0. Graffinino content to be patient here in his first at-bat of the ball game. No score yet in this game. Whitecaps and Red Sox tied at 1 in the series. In this winner-go-home matchup, a packed house here in Yarmouth. Not a spot for a lawn chair to be found. 3-0 pitch. Misses outside. It's a 4-pitch walk to A.J. Graffinino. So a hit by pitch and a walk fuel a mini rally for Brewster. It's first and second for the top of the order with 2 gone.
And this is something we didn't see from Kaufman the time he appeared on Saturday for those 3 innings. He only allowed 1 hit, didn't walk anybody, and so far in 2 innings, that's his 2nd walk, and he's already hit a batter, so I don't think his control is quite as sharp early on as we saw here on Saturday.
So here is the lefty Nick Dunn digging in for the 2nd time. He doubled to center field his first time up. The pitch misses down and in. So the count 1 ball and no strikes on the Maryland Terrapin, who really tattooed that ball his first time up. Just whacked off the wall in center field and was just barely able to make it into a double. Almost reminds you of the Green Monster at Fenway, where if it whacks off the wall, it's held to a single sometimes. 1-0 pitch misses down and away, so it's 2-0 now on Nick Dunn. It's Datris on second, Graffinino on first base for the Whitecaps. We have yet to see a hit in this frame, but Brewster has gotten 2 runners on, just like they did in the first inning where they came up empty. Kaufman holds the set, and he will throw over to second base again. Datris gets back without a slide. Boy, Kyle Datris has received a lot of attention on the base paths since he got there via that hit by pitch from Carl Kaufman and the rest of the YD coaching staff calling those signals. Waiting on a 2-0 pitch to Nick Dunn. Here it comes. Misses down and away, and an off-speed pitch, and the count is 3-0. And meanwhile, we've seen 7 straight pitches out of the strike zone from Carl Kaufman while he's been looking at the base runner. 3-0 the count on Nick Dunn. We're in the top of the 2nd, scoreless ball game. And already it does appear there's some action out in the bullpen for YD. Kaufman holds the set. Here comes the 3-0 pitch. It's in there for a strike. Dunn was taking all the way, and Kaufman just grooved that one in there. Tommy Henry is the man who's warming up for the Red Sox, a left-hander that the Whitecaps have seen before. 3-1 the count on Nick Dunn. First and second, 2 men out the pitch. Hit hard on the ground to second base. Nico Horner fields a tricky hop and throws to first base in time for the out. These infielders are going to be tested today with the way the infield is playing right now, but the Whitecaps failed to score here in the top of the 2nd inning. No runs, no hits either, but 2 runners left on base. At the end of an inning and a half, we're scoreless here in Game 3. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball. Here are Carter Waddell and Aiden Doyle. We welcome you back to Yarmouth. We're scoreless as we start the bottom of the 2nd inning of play. Red Sox were sent down in order by Paulie Milto in the bottom of the 1st, so it's 4, 5, and 6. Rivas, Ferris, and Miller due up. And the pitch to the lefty, Rivas shows bunt, takes a strike. And the count is 0-1. That fastball from Paulie Milto, a lot of sinking action to it. It's a real heavy pitch. Explains why he gets so many ground balls when he's working well. Here comes the 0-1. Foul back over a bit toward the third base side behind home plate by Rivas. Took a good swing at that one, but nothing to show for it, so it counts 0-2 Rivas has had a great playoff series so far. Had a Rivy double to drive in the only run for YD yesterday. 0-2 pitch, cut on and miss, strike 3. Alfonso Rivas down swinging, and Paulie Milto is looking comfortable early.
He painted the outside corner there, the fastball for strike 1, then back-to-back off-speed pitches from the right-hander. Had Rivas way out in front of that one for strike 3. That's going to be the key for Paulie Milto, like we were talking about before the game, is just changing speeds, mixing up his pitches so that, you know, he doesn't have overpowering stuff, so he can't become too predictable.
So here's the righty Carter Ferris, and the UAB Blazer takes a strike at the knees to make the count 0-1. Ferris has also been hot in this playoff series. 3 out of 7 with a pair of runs driven in. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. It misses low to make the count 1-1. Both of those RBIs came here at Reb Wilson Field. It was a 2-run single in the 4th inning of that game 1. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Checked his swing. He went around, says Mark Chamberlain. That was a pitch in the dirt that fooled Carter Ferris. It looks like these Red Sox hitters, the first time through the lineup, are really having trouble keying in on what Paulie Milto is throwing at him. Here comes the 1-2 offering. Swing and a miss, he got him. Ferris out in front of that one as well. Off-speed pitches getting Rivas and Ferris to start off the second. Paulie Milto 5 up, 5 down to start this ball game.
And you could tell Ferris was uncomfortable there in the batter's box on strike 2 when he just kind of check swing waved at an off-speed pitch from Milto. And why not go right back to it? You're heading the count 0-2. You don't have to throw anything near the zone. Got him swinging there on the breaking ball for strike 3, back-to-back Ks.
So here's the righty Luke Miller. Pitch to him is hit high in the air to center field. Looking up is Hunter Bishop. That one is out of here. Luke Miller with his first hit of this playoff series, and it's a big one. A solo home run to left center field to give YD a 1-0 lead here in the second.
Miller just jumped all over that first pitch fastball. The second it left its bat, we knew it was gone. Milto just left that one a little bit too high up in the zone, right about belt level, so right down the heart of the plate, trying to get that first pitch strike, which he had done effectively so far early in this game, and using that fastball to try and set up the breaking ball later. But Miller, anticipating that first pitch swinging, goes deep to left center field. That ball was absolutely crushed.
Jamie Shevchik talked about before the game about how important it was for Milto to avoid pitches like that, fastballs that are hittable. The first pitch is in there for a called strike off speed to the righty swinging Connor Kaiser. To start off Kaiser's at-bat, it is 1-0 now. Red Sox on top here in the bottom of inning number 2. Here's the 0-1 offering from Milto. It's fouled away, just barely got a piece. Did Kaiser, nubbed it over toward the YD dugout on the third base side. So the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Milto has been pretty good this year at bouncing back when he's been hit hard like he just was. 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. So 3 strikeouts and a homer for YD in this second inning. It's a big one from Miller. The solo shot gives the Red Sox a 1-0 lead after 2. 1 run, 1 hit, and nobody left in the frame. At the end of 2 innings of play, it's Whitecaps trailing YD by a score of 1-0 here in Game 3. This is Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball. Here are Carter Wedeel and Aiden Doyle. Luke Miller's home run has given the YD Red Sox a 1-0 lead as we start the third inning here in Game 3. It's the 2-3-4 hitters due up for Brewster, starting with Chandler Taylor, who takes the first pitch outside on a fastball from Carl Kaufman to begin his at-bat. The count 1-0 on Taylor. Kaufman staring in. Taylor was a strikeout victim his first time up. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Checked his swing on a pitch that was low. He did hold up. So the count, they're going to appeal. They say he did hold up, says Larry Rosenberg. Kind of a late appeal there from Mark Chamberlain, but it does return the verdict that Chandler Taylor was hoping for, so it's a 2-0 count on the man from Alabama. Here comes the pitch. It's in there for a called strike on the fastball to make the count 2-1 strike. So far, much like the first couple of games of his series, the pitchers have looked pretty good in the first couple innings of play. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Skips in front of the plate, so the count is 3-1. Brewster only has one hit in this ball game, but they have put 4 runners on base. Left runners at the corners at the end of the first and had first and second when the second inning came to a close. Here comes the 3-1 pitch to Taylor. Swing and a miss. It was a high fastball. Taylor went for it and came up empty, so the count is full on Taylor. Whitecaps trailing YD 1-0 here in Game 3. We are in the top of the third inning. Still sprinkling a bit with the weather moving into the area, but we're hoping to get this ball game in. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. It misses inside for ball 4. So Chandler Taylor works a well-deserved walk, and the Whitecaps again, for the third time in as many frames, have the leadoff man on in this inning.
Well, that's back-to-back plate appearances for Chandler Taylor in which he works it to a full count, but obviously a different result there as he works the walk. First time struck out looking, but that's just a nice adjustment from Chandler Taylor. Continuing to battle against Kaufman, but they're taking that pitch inside instead of waiting for that breaking ball from Kaufman, because that's what he got him out on the first time.
So here is Mickey Gasper, switch hitter batting from the left side. The pitch from the righty Kaufman misses low. And the count is 1-0. The third baseman, Mendoza, is in just a little bit, about even with the baseline, to guard a possible bunt from Gasper. Chandler Taylor with plenty of speed at first base. 1-0 the count on the catcher from Bryant. Pitch. Oh. Gasper a catcher by Trey, but at first base in this ball game. Count 2-0 on him now. Whitecaps trying to move to 3-3 all time in Game 3s as a team. They've won 2 out of their 5 in their history. 2-0 pitch is a fastball that misses up high, so the count is 3-0. With Marty Costas standing on deck for the Brewster Whitecaps. Gasper, his first time up, hit a hard ground ball to short that Kaiser fielded cleanly for the out. So he is 0 for 1 with the 6-3 ground ball. Here comes the 3-0 pitch. It misses outside for ball 4. So back-to-back walks given up by Carl Kaufman in this inning. He's now given up 4 in total in this ball game, and the Whitecaps are knocking on the door early in this frame.
Yes, they are. Back-to-back walks from the number 2 and 3 hitters. Sets the stage for Marty Costas. And again, this is continuing with the theme of this is a different Carl Kaufman than what we saw a couple of days ago here at Red Wilson Field, where he went 3 innings, just gave up that 1 hit. Here, already 4 walks as a hit batsman, gave up a double to Dunn to lead off the game. He isn't quite having as much success throwing strikes, and this is a Whitecaps team that is as disciplined as any in the Cape Cod League. Number 1 in the league in walks in the regular season. They're going to make him work, and this is going to, obviously with the pitching coach now out here on the mound talking to Kaufman, Tommy Henry warming up in the bullpen. This bullpen for the Red Sox is already a little bit thin. They've used a lot of pitchers in games 1 and 2. So if they can chase Kaufman from this game early, that could lead to more success down the line later in the game against either maybe not the strongest arms in the Red Sox bullpen or guys that have already pitched in the last 2 days.
7 pitches used for YD, 7 pitchers in these past couple of games of the series. Brewster's only used 4, and that's a big equalizer for Brewster, because I think if you went into this ball game as the meeting at the mound is finally breaking up out there and kind of handicapped how the bullpens looked, YD would have the clear advantage, especially given Riley McCauley at the back end. But now, as you said, Aiden, they're kind of thinned out just a bit in this Game 3, so it's a bit more even the way you look at things. So now Marty Costas is ready. It's first and second for Brewster. We are in the top of the third, and YD has a 1-0 lead after a Luke Miller solo shot, the only run of this ball game. Checks the runner at second. Here comes the pitch to Costas. Swing and a miss. Looked like Costas was a little bit out in front of that pitch, and the count is 0-1. Another breaking ball out of the hand of Carl Kaufman. Costas worked a walk his first time up, the first of the 4 free passes that the Whitecaps have been able to get off of Kaufman in this ball game. Here comes the 0-1 pitch to Costas. It misses down low. Of course, we shouldn't be too surprised that Brewster's drawing a lot of walks. They led that category by a mile in the regular season, but they had struggled toward the end of the year. Yesterday, at the end of that ball game, after the starter John Rooney got pulled, they finally seemed to be able to get those free passes again. Wound up drawing 6 in the final 3 innings. The pitch to Costas is hit on the ground, right side. It gets into right field for a base hit. Chandler Taylor's hustling around third. He's going to come in and score. Heading to third base and sliding in safely is Mickey Gasper. They throw to second. At second base is Marty Costas. What a heads-up play to get over there from Marty Costas, and the Whitecaps have tied the ball game on a ribby single from the Maryland Terrapin.
Well, man, does he have a knack for coming through in the clutch for this Whitecaps team to base hit the right. And that's what I love about Marty Costas, is that he's just so gifted, so strong, that he's not out.
So when one Michigan man leaves the mound, another replaces him for YD, as Tommy Henry will be called on to replace his Wolverine teammate Carl Kaufman here in the top of the third. 1 run already in for the Whitecaps on a ribby single from Marty Costas, and they're threatening for more. It's second and third and nobody out, with Darius Hill, the lefty hitter, due up against the lefty Tommy Henry. This is Henry's first appearance of this first-round playoff series. Here's the first pitch to Hill. It's in there for a called strike at the knees to make the count 0-1. In the regular season, Henry had a .593 ERA and 8 appearances out of the pen. 13 2/3 innings for YD. He walked 7 and struck out 15. Count 0-1 on Darius Hill. We're tied at 1 in the top of the third. The pitch misses low to make the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Hill started off his day. He came in a big spot his last time up as well. It was first and third and 2 men out when he dug in for the first time, and he grounded out to second to end the first inning. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. It's a ground ball right side. Picked up by the first baseman, Rivas. He looks over and stares down the runner at third, steps on the bag for the out, and the runner at third base, Gasper, stays put. Darren Trainer, the catcher, giving a nice enthusiastic point over there to Rivas, congratulating him for knowing just what to do, gets the 3 unassisted, and the runners stay put. A big play here for the first out of this third inning.
Well, it's a heads-up play by Rivas. If you notice, Carter, the middle infield was back, so if he had hit it to short or second, they would have traded the run for the out if you're the Red Sox, but they're hitting it right to Rivas at first base with the corners in, not getting the job done, but still only 1 out, and Kyle Datras digging in.
So here is Datras, a right-handed hitter, against the lefty Tommy Henry. Here's the pitch. It's an off-speed pitch that misses down to make the count 1 ball and no strikes. Tommy Henry is a rising sophomore from Portage, Michigan. Had a .319 ERA for the Wolverines back in the spring. Made 21 appearances out of the pen. A teammate, as I mentioned, of Carl Kaufman. Also of Will Tribuker, yesterday's starter for Brewster. 1-0 pitch, misses low. So the count is 2 balls and no strikes on Kyle Datras. Datras was hit with a pitch, the very first pitch he saw from Carl Kaufman, his first time up. That's how his line looks. Looking to add to his RBI total here. Already has 1 ribby on a sac fly yesterday in this playoff series. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. In there for a called strike at the knees to make the count 2-1. So far from what we've seen from Mark Chamberlain, it's the first time the Whitecaps have seen Mark Chamberlain in a long time behind the plate. it's been a pretty tight zone, at least judging by the way the crowd has reacted, and also by the way that we can look at it from our vantage point. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Check swing on a pitch that was low. They appealed to first base, and he didn't go around, so says Jeff Kinney. So it's 3-1 now on Datris. We're in the top of the third. 1 run in for Brewster to tie this ball game up at 1. That's where we stand. YD got their run on a solo home run off the bat of Luke Miller, their only base runner of this ball game. Waiting on a 3-1 pitch to Kyle Datris. Here it comes. It's in there for a called strike. That was on the inner half at the knees, and it brings the count full on Datris, who took a step toward first base, but then rocked his way back toward the batter's box when the call came in from Mark Chamberlain. That's another distinctive thing about this home plate umpire, Mark Chamberlain. He is a tad late with his calls. So with the count full, Darren Traynor will run the signs again for Tommy Henry. Hunter Bishop on deck for Brewster. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. It's hit high in the air, foul ground toward the right side. It gets out of play. So we'll do it again with the count 3-2 as that one wound up over by the Snack Shack. Over toward the right side. Costas is on second base with Gasper on third. With the speedy Costas in scoring position, you have to think a hard hit single that isn't right to an outfielder would make it 3-1 Brewster. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Foul back to the screen. Nice job by Datris to spoil a pitch that he didn't really time very well and stay alive. Just suck the bat out and push it back toward that chain link backstop. So again, it is 3-2. Datris changing a couple of words with the umpire and digs back in. Holding the set is Tommy Henry. Here's the payoff pitch. It's hit hard into center field. That's going to get down for a base hit in left center, splitting the outfielders and rolling to the left center field wall. Gasper scores. Costas will come in to score. Heading into second base with a standing double is Kyle Datris, and the Whitecaps have a 3-1 lead.
If you look up frozen rope in the dictionary, it's a video of that hit by Kyle Datris out the left center field. Just an absolute rocket into the gap. Henry left the fastball up. Datris, after battling, taking some pitches low, fouling off a breaking ball on the previous pitch, gets that high fastball, drives it out the left center field. Just a great at-bat and a great piece of hitting by Kyle Datris to give the Whitecaps the lead.
And you could see how important it was in the emotion with Gasper and Costas as they crossed home plate, jumping in the air, high-fiving. You can tell how much this means to both teams. Here's the first pitch to Hunter Bishop, and the lefty takes a strike to make the count 0-1. Bishop hit hard his first time up, but it was nicely played by the left fielder Carlos Cortez, who ran it down out in left center. So he is 0-1 today, is Bishop. Datris aboard second base. He's got to him as well. 0-1 the count on Bishop. It's 1 Brewster here in Game 3, top of the third inning. 0-1 pitch is in there for a called strike. Count is 0-2. That one grooved right in there from the hurler Tommy Henry. Henry does have some life to his fastball and can throw off-speed stuff for strikes. Kind of similar to Carl Kaufman, his Michigan teammate and the YD starter. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Just misses low and possibly away on that fastball, so it's 1-2 on Hunter Bishop. Henry will stare in. Runner on second base is Datris. The rain continuing to sprinkle here with the wind blowing out toward left center here at Red Wilson Field in Yarmouth. And stepping off the mound is Tommy Henry. Lifted his leg and then turned over to glare at the runner on second base, Datris. No throw over there, but Datris did head back to the bag. So 1-2 the count. Henry once more holds the set and stares down Datris at second. The pitch misses inside, so the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Been a terrific job by the Whitecap hitters early on in this ball game against Kaufman and Henry at working counts. I think especially for a team that had their starters scratched right before the ball game started. Tim Brennan was going to go for YD, and then Carl Kaufman was replacing him. 2-2 pitch misses low to make the count full on Hunter Bishop. When your starter is scratched and you know that the other team's probably going to have an all-hands-on-deck, starter-by-committee kind of situation, working counts becomes that much more effective. That's the way it's been for Brewster in this game. Waiting on a payoff pitch now to Hunter Bishop.
All right, Hunter.
Henry delivers. Slow ground ball toward the shortstop, fielded over there by Kaiser. He throws to first base in time for the out. Bishop just kind of moved. He didn't really seem like he timed that one well and did his best to make contact. Hit it right to the shortstop, Kaiser. So moving to third on the play is Datris, and there are 2 away.
Yeah, then goes the breaking ball from Henry down and away, and Bishop knew he was out in front of it, so just kind of threw the barrel of the bat at it, trying to get a piece of it staying alive. And with his just pure strength, I mean, he hits it all the way to shortstop. That's a weak ground ball between the pitcher and the third baseline, but Bishop all the way to short. It does move Datris over to third, though, for Justin Coons.
So here is the righty Coons, and he swings and misses the opening offering from Tommy Henry. And you're right, that was a quick one-hopper. I thought it was going to be a slower pitch than it was, just based on how he looked swinging the baseball bat. But Bishop, just with so much natural talent, able to push it, but still retired. 0-1 the count on Justin Coons. The pitch misses low, so the count is 1-1. Lefty Tommy Henry against the righty Justin Coons, who swung and missed on a slider out of the hand of Carl Kaufman his first time up. All 3 of those runs that the Whitecaps have scored in this frame were charged to Kaufman, as the 1-1 is in there for a called strike to make it 2-1 on Justin Coons. Brewster got the first on a ribby single from Marty Costas that chased Kaufman from the game, and then a 2-run double from Datris, who is now aboard third base, made it 3-1 Whitecaps. That's where we stand right now on the top of the third. 1-2 pitch. This is low. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 men out, with Justin Coons digging in. One of the reasons Jamie Shevchik put Justin Coons in this lineup, so he says, is because of the ballpark we're in tonight. It's shallow to center field, and Justin Coons has been known to hit a few big fly balls. 2-2 pitch. Misses down and in, so it's again 3-2 on Justin Coons. This really has been terrific for Brewster, and it's been kind of characteristic for them to work counts, but to also have the extra base hits that they've had, the 2 doubles from Dunn and Datris. That's been the combination the Whitecaps have maybe been lacking at times so far this season. Getting on base and clearing the base paths. 3-2 pitch is foul back behind the plate. That headed over everything, and that might have taken out somebody's car in the parking lot behind home plate. This is a ballpark here at Red Wilson Field where you have to have a good insurance policy on your car if you're going to park in the first line of spots. There is some murmuring going out over there, and it does look like somebody's windshield got redone by that Justin Coons foul ball.
Completely shattered.
3-2 is the count on Justin Coons, who will step off as the crowd continues to murmur behind us here. Holding the set is Tommy Henry. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. It's in there, called. Strike 3 on an off-speed pitch. Coons thought it was inside. He'll turn and have a couple of words for Chamberlain, but is wincing as he heads back to the dugout, and that retires the side in the top of the third. But a very successful frame for the Whitecaps. They get 3 runs on 2 hits and leave 1 runner on. At the end of 2.5 innings of play here at Red Wilson Field, the Whitecaps lead 3-1 here in Game 3. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball. Here are Carter Waddell and Aiden Doyle. Back at Red Wilson Field, first pitch to Mendoza is bunted foul to begin the bottom of the third. The Red Sox trailing the Brewster Whitecaps 3-1 as we start this bottom of the third inning. If you've just joined us, the first run of the game came on a solo homer from Luke Miller to give YD a short-lived 1-0 advantage. Brewster would respond with a ribby single from Casas and a 2-run double from Datris as the 0-1 pitch misses up high to make the count 1-1 on Drew Mendoza. So those 3 runs in the top of the third have made it 3-1 Brewster. Here as we start the bottom half, it's 8-9-1 due up for YD. Here's the pitch to Mendoza, and it's fouled away toward the left field line. That's getting way out of play over the trees out there. Hit that one well to Drew Mendoza. Paulie Milto, just the one base runner in this ball game. The home run from Luke Miller is the only player to reach base for Scott Pickler's team so far today. Here comes the 1-2. Off-speed pitch misses down and away to make the count 2-2. That's the sort of pitch that Milto likes to use. A lot of off-speed stuff and a lot of stuff down in the zone, sometimes both. Here's the 2-2 pitch. In there called, strike 3, froze him with an off-speed pitch, and Drew Mendoza strikes out. That is the 4th strikeout, and the first one looking for Milto. In fact, it's his 4th in 5 hitters, bookending that Miller home run.
Yeah, you were saying only the one base runner allowed, and when you think about it, he struck out the side in that bottom of the second as well. Rivas, Ferris, and Kaiser all going down via the K. Now to get Mendoza looking with an off-speed pitch on the outside corner. Just a great sequence by Paulie Milto to set that location up.
So here's the 9-hitter Darren Trainer. First pitch swinging a high pop fly toward the right field line. Mickey Gasper, the first baseman, moves back, and he makes the catch straddling the foul line. Just a few steps beyond the edge of the infield dirt, so a 1-pitch out for Darren Trainer, and quickly there are 2 gone here in the bottom of the third.
And that's exactly what you want if you're Paulie Milto. Get those quick outs, just an easy short pop-up to Mickey Gasper, especially with the top of this Red Sox order coming up, and Nico Horner. He's the guy in this Red Sox order who you got to really watch out for, the second baseman out of Stanford. For him to come up now with 2 outs and nobody on base, this is when you want to face him.
Here's the pitch to the righty Horner. It's a fastball, and it's in there for a called strike to make the count 1-0. Yeah, Paulie Milto is not a guy who will show you really a ton of emotion on the mound. He's very straight-faced, just goes about his business, but you have to feel like he is locked in right now. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swung and grounded foul. The one mistake that he made was that home run to Luke Miller. The Whitecaps ahead 3-1 here in the bottom of the third in YD, and it was pretty easy to explain. He left a fastball over the plate on the first pitch, and Miller was sitting on it, drove it out to left center field. 0-2 the count on Horner, who grounded out to third his first time. Here's the pitch. Grounded foul, left side. Souvenir for some kids in the first row out in that lawn chair area here at YD. Count is 0-2, still on Nico Horner. And of all the ballparks here on the Cape, I think in terms of just lawn chair ability, this has to be at the top of the list here at Red Wilson Field. Plenty of room for those. The pitch is swung on and grounded foul again, third base side. So 3 straight pitches dispatched over there toward the left side off the bat of Nico Horner. Does look like there's another YD hurler getting loose. It's Brendan Nail, the man from Western Carolina, one of Scott Pickler's favorite pitchers to use out of the bullpen. He and Riley McCauley are 2 of the guys that shoulder a lot of the load. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. It misses down and away. The count 1-2. Excellent at bat here from Nico Horner. I think showing why he's maybe the toughest out in this ball game. Just spoiling some tough pitches, trying to get one he can drive. Here's the 1-2. It's hit high in the air behind the plate, foul and out of play. And so it's still 1-2 on Nico Horner. And I'm sure for Paulie Milto, who is trying to be as efficient as possible, would love to get Horner out of the batter's box here. 2 men out, nobody on. 1-2. Swung on and missed. It bounces in front of Coons. No, it's a foul ball. He just got a piece. Just barely got a piece, says Mark Chamberlain. Just nicked that. Justin Coons looked like he knew it. No argument from him behind the plate. So still 1-2. Just barely staying alive was Horner.
Well, that's got to be frustrating for Milto because you get a hitter like Horner who doesn't often chase pitches out of the zone, and you get him to chase one way down and away, and he just barely nicks it for the foul ball.
1-2 pitch is a hard ground ball, a chopper toward the shortstop Graffinino. He fields it and throws to first in time for the out. Graffinino using his quick hands to the best of his ability there to get the speedy Horner. So it's another 1-2-3 inning for the Red Sox here in the third. At the end of 3, it's 3-1 Brewster. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Welcome back to Red Wilson Field in Yarmouth, Massachusetts, where the Whitecaps hold a 3-1 lead over the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox here in a win-or-go-home Game 3. Aiden Doyle alongside Carter Woodeel here on the Whitecaps Radio Network, and there's a new arm in the game for Yarmouth Dennis. It's the southpaw Brendan Nail out of Western Carolina, and his first pitch to A.J. Graffinino, a fastball on the outside corner for strike one. Nail, another guy who appeared in Game 1 of this series here at Red Wilson. Went 1 inning, gave up a hit, 2 earned runs, walked 3, and struck out 1 as the 0-1 fastball skips home. That one about 57 feet, and the count evens at 1-1 to the shortstop out of the University of Washington. Graffinino walked in his first plate appearance, that coming against YD starter Carl Kaufman. As the 1-1 pitch, fastball cut on and missed, chased that one up around letter high. Count now 1-2 on Graffinino. The runs and hits columns identical here on the scoreboard in Yarmouth. 3 runs for the Whitecaps as Graffinino chases another high fastball. He goes down swinging for out number 1.
Well, we talked about how tempting those high fastballs can be for folks. Right now, A.J. Graffinino swinging at that one in the small ballpark. Folks are going to think about knocking one out of the park, but for Brewster, especially at the start of an inning, you got to think about keeping the line moving. That's how they scored the 3 runs that they've got right now.
Now it's back to the top of the order for the Whitecaps and Nick Dunn, second baseman out of the University of Maryland. Another left-handed hitter in this Brewster order. First pitch swinging, he fouls off the breaking ball back into the backstop, and the count now 0-1. Dunn 1 for 2 on the day, doubled in his first at-bat to straightaway center field before grounding out to second to end the top of the second inning. Behind in the count 0-1 here to Nail as the lefty comes set, and the 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball misses down and away, count levels at 1-1. Down looking for out number 3, so a perfect 1-2-3 for Brendan Nail in the top of the 4th.